How women push men away during early dating. This is pretty common. This happens a lot to women, and it's not fun. It doesn't feel fun for a woman, enjoyable for a woman in any way. And I'm not going to go into all of the different ways that women can push men away, just because there's so much, right? I could do 50 videos on it. Maybe I will. But I do want to I want to bring up a story, and this video is actually going to end up being more for men, but I think women are going to get a lot out of it as well. Um, One of my earliest dating experiences when I was first really learning how to date and be try to be confident and just be normal and learn social skills and everything. I dated a woman that was really great. She was really, and I've dated many really great, sweet, kind women. Um, she had a lot of great qualities, very naturally feminine in so many ways, but she did so much to also push me away, right? And just reflecting back, one of the things that she did was this kind of giving energy, right? Like getting into my space, um, giving me compliments, things like that. And I don't even think she had super low self-esteem or anything. She's just a really nice person. And and this is just one example, right? Women can do so many things with texting, like things on dates, things when pretty much anything. I could like with not using feminine communication, just being accidentally disrespectful, all kinds of stuff. But I want to use my example because I love talking about myself. So with this woman, she slowly kind of pushed me away energetically, right? Where I was just like, "Oh, I don't really want to spend much time with her. uh, you know, Went from 3 days a week and then two and then increasingly less. And I eventually broke up with her. Now, to be fair, I know that that wasn't the woman for me anyway, but I bring up this example because I, as a man, allowed that to happen, right? That happened in large part because I was emasculated, right? Not emasculated in the sense that a woman would like tell me what to do and I'd be like, yes, yes, mommy, okay. But in a different way, right? Like she was a very feminine woman and she had some needy qualities, some like giving energy qualities, things like that, that I just is like, okay, this doesn't feel good. And I just allowed myself to be pushed away, right? And how many men are doing that with women, right? How many men just say nothing? A woman says like texts him something and it really turns him off and whatever. And instead of being a man, instead of being dominant and leading her into healthier behavior that is going to inspire him into more devotion, that's going to turn him on more, like with attraction, that's going to make him want to serve her. Instead, men often say nothing and just kind of get turned off over time or right away, and then ghost the woman or just slowly, you know, withdraw energetically from the dynamic, the dating dynamic, the relationship dynamic, whatever it is, until it ends, either because the man just is like, hey, I'm done, or the woman is like, my needs aren't getting met and I feel like shit, and I guess we got to end it. And and that's that is not leading, and it's worse than just not leading. It's just a really shitty thing to do to a woman, right? I'm not saying men are doing it on purpose. Some men are assholes, sure, and they're doing it on purpose, but for the most part they're doing it because they just don't know anything better, right? They kind of like put the blame on the woman, and it's like, well, she was getting kind of needy, or she was like, I just wasn't feeling it anymore, whatever, when it could have been a perfectly amazing woman if the man knew how to lead her, right, into more feminine, uh just being, right, instead of doing, like instead of being in the giving role or being needy or whatever it is that she's doing, right, leading her into feminine communication, leading her into leaning back, leading her into communicating her needs in a way that he would be inspired to serve, so much. So all of these, or many of these situations are ending, and yeah, the man's going to blame the woman. And the woman's going to end up feeling hurt and like, oh, I don't know what I did wrong, or I was too needy, or I was whatever. That really sucks. Right? That really sucks because it doesn't have to be that way. And it could have shifted with either man or woman, right? If the man, or sorry, if the woman had at least joined our masterclass, for example, I'm going to just put in this little advertisement before we continue, and learned how to communicate and be in a more feminine way, then she wouldn't have pushed away the man. If the man learned masculine communication and feminine communication and learned how to lead that woman into just communicating when she feels needy, or communicating when she feels anxious and she steps into the giving role, or whatever, or communicates in a disrespectful way or whatever, none of it had to happen, right? Men and women need to learn this. And I'm married now, so it's a little different for me, but if I was single, I would really see it as my responsibility as a man. Like, even if I'm not going to continue with a woman, I'm going to at least want to leave her better than I found her, right? I'm at least going to want to explain to her really lovingly exactly what it is that she's doing, give her some feedback on how to shift that, and either continue with her or not, right? Like, if a woman's really receptive and everything, then, I mean, a lot of the time it might be okay to continue with her. That's an act of service. That's an act of love. That's an act of devotion to the feminine that all men should be doing. Women end up suffering so much because men aren't properly leading them. They don't understand what they're doing wrong. And then they end up going home and beating themselves up because, oh, I ruined it with another guy, and she doesn't even really know why. Right? Why? Because the man didn't lead her to understand why. That's really tragic. And she doesn't have like a father who understands this stuff, or a brother, or anyone, unless one of them joined the academy, or, is just naturally really dominant and understands this communication, and understands masculine and feminine dynamics, which is almost nobody, right? Dating could be so much more enjoyable for both genders if men just really knew how to find their balls, became competent at leading, and led women, especially feminine women, right? Like, sure, there's really masculinized women that don't even want to hear it. There's lots of masculinized women who do want to hear it too, by the way, but side matter. But like, especially soft feminine women who just want to learn, who just want to understand what they did wrong, who just want to become better women, who just want to know, right? Who are actually receptive, and just men, the receptive and men just aren't leading, right? To give women that clarity. That's really tragic. It's really tragic. See if there's any questions here. I don't think any questions, just comments. Great comments. Yeah, so I want to change the world, right? I don't want this to continue. It's really just hurting women. It also hurts men, right? It's such a waste. It's such a waste with what's going on, and it's so unnecessary, and it's happening mainly because of ignorance. A combination of ignorance and people not taking responsibility for themselves, and what they're co-creating, right? A man who gets pushed away by all these women and is like, oh, all these girls are just so needy and whatever it is, or disrespectful, whatever. Okay, yeah, there are lots of needy women. Yeah, there are lots of disrespectful women. So fucking do something about it. Start leading them then. Stop complaining. Stop being a bitch about it and do something. I'm speaking to my former self too, right? It's not like I'm like angry at men or anything. I'm just, come on. I know better now, and I didn't back then, and I ended up hurting a lot of women because of it. A lot of women. I've dated a lot of women. I've hurt a lot of women, because I didn't realize that that was my role. And even if I did, I didn't know what like I led in many ways, but not in that way, not in the way of truly leading a woman into her feminine more, into her feminine radiance, into feminine communication. I didn't know anything about that. So yeah, I made tons of mistakes and I allowed many women to push me away. Um, you know, I don't regret it in the sense that it brought me here. So that's great. Um, and I just want both men and women to do a lot better for each other. How cool would that be? How much better of a world could we have if that was what men and women were really focused on? A lot better world. So here's the bottom line. Join my masterclass. Join my masterclass if you haven't yet, so that you can really get your feet wet understanding these principles. Especially if you've read my books and everything, and it's different when you see it. It's different when you actually see it on role plays and you get a feel for the energy. You see it in action, you hear it in action. That's so much different than the words, right? It's so much different than listening to me on these videos here. Just take that first step. Take that one first step. Come on. You owe that to yourself. Men, let's just put it in context here. Men, how much money do you spend on one date on a woman? Okay. How much do you spend on a year of dating women? Well, you can join this masterclass for $47 and get a ton of practical understanding about how to lead women to not push you away in many various ways. And you're not going to have to spend as much on dates. How does that sound? Sounds like a pretty sweet deal, right? $47. And you actually learn practical information that you can apply on your next date. Your next date, which will probably end badly if you don't know how to lead properly. You don't know how to lead a woman properly. And then women, well, you're probably not paying for dates. I hope you're not. Some of you might be, but probably not. $47, and is that worth just having one less experience of pushing a man away and he ghosts you, and or you can feel his energy withdrawing from the dynamic? You can feel him becoming more distant and you don't know why, and you feel like shit, and you take it personally and feel bad about yourself. Because if you join the masterclass and learn about masculine and feminine communication, I'm not saying that you're never going to have those experiences again, but you're going to understand why so much better, and you're going to start being able to shift your behaviors and communication more, so that it doesn't have to be something that happens very frequently. And now you might be a woman that says like, oh no, that men, it's not really my problem. A lot of men like me. Okay. Do the right men like you? Do you feel tons of attraction for the men that really like you? Or are you not really attracting the right kind of men or the right kind of behaviors? Or if you are, you're not really keeping them. They're not really sticking around that long. Maybe they'll stick around for a few dates or till sex, or maybe a few months. Are they claiming you, or are they wanting to marry you? $47 can change that, right? You gotta take the next step forward in this, and really learn what's going on in your behavioral patterns, your communication patterns. Start shifting. So men and women, if that's what you want, I really hope you do, because it is, a really big step towards transforming all of this. I'm not saying it's like the only step, obviously you got my academy program and all of that, but it's a really big step forward that actually does shift people's lives. Just this 2-hour event with me and Mark Benet. If you want to take that step, if you're ready to take that step, if you're willing to take that step, good. Comment "I want in" below. 3 easy words, and I will send you a private message with our link so you can book a spot. before it sells out in June. We're already 18 spots sold. So, we're almost at the halfway mark. Book your spot. Comment I want in below. I'll reach out.